Hello, welcome back everybody. My name is Jamie Leonard here with TCG Unlimited, and today, since we didn't have enough time to stream or anything today, I wanted to bring you guys a quick video. It's not going to take too long, but I found this game quite interesting. I found this slight issue in this game and the game before it, where basically we started out a little too strong, and quickly we got targeted by the entire table. First game it did well. First game I conceded just because it was going to be one of those uh, make infinite mana off of different cards. Your typical red blue kind of stuff, and then it was just going to be copy a bunch of spells, do a bunch of silly things, and I wasn't willing to sit there for 20 minutes to wait for him to essentially do nothing. Uh, my guess is try to storm for the win. Either way, really wasn't going to sit there for that, so conceded that one. Next, and this is the game we're going to watch. This game we won, but everybody tried to play it out as best they could, but unfortunately our deck was just too strong. So again, this deck is the Prismatic Bridge Planeswalker deck that we've used in the stream over the last couple weeks, and yeah, I mean, this deck continues to show why it's as powerful as it is. Continues to prove why it's as good as it is in a lot of different ways, in its flexibility and its ways to adapt and deal with certain things. So without too much ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So we'll start it. We do end up going first. As you can see, our hand is like not amazing as far as like playability, but it gives us some tech. Considering we're playing against, enchantments, Istrid, and Omnath. Like, I knew this shuts down the Omnath. This pretty much stops this. It just doesn't hurt her, because it's pretty much everything revolves around her anyway. The only good thing here is he never got off to a good start. I mean, he pretty much gets mana stuck at like 3 forever, and we pretty much just ran away with the game. Now, there was some slight misplay on my part just because I didn't see the bird and the elf come down. Otherwise, we would have gone turn 2 humility to stop him from ramping. But thankfully, we didn't need it. But pretty much, this game turns into both guys on the corners basically trying to double team me just because we get off to a fast start. This is basically enchantment lock. You have to pay 1 billion mana to attack it while it just combos off. Yeah. So here I realize what's happening. We throw down the humility. We're good to go now. And we pretty much just start just kind of going for the melee at that point. Pretty much at this point, this guy's already not liking me just because this basically turns off his entire deck. But it pretty much goes exactly as we expected it to. I'm sure he probably would have preferred not to draw the War Room, but, it is what it is. The Omnath comes down. Obviously, it's useless. So he's pretty much just going to have to pass. And again, we're pretty much just going to be like taking the opportunities to get out certain, random things. We're going to lose this coin toss. Pretty much I have the worst luck I've ever heard in a game of Commander with Mana Crypt. I didn't win a single coin toss the entire game. But we're going to basically deny draws off the Heuristic Study as much as possible since we're not doing anything with it. Basically, this guy's going to get ready to start begging for somebody to help him. As you see, he does play the Aura of Silence, so he's got removal for anything on my board he wants. The willingness to even destroy the humility when this doesn't hurt him right now was interesting. But as you see, this guy's just stuck on 3 mana. He can't do anything. He swings at me because his deck just doesn't do anything anymore. And I imagine had this guy not been here or he had not, no permanent removal, this guy probably would have conceded. So again, I see this and I decide, you know what? Let's give him a choice. Let's make him decide. Does he want the humility or does he want the prismatic bridge? And it's basically I'm making him choose. So either I get free permanents or you give him back his abilities. Because this doesn't hurt you right now. So I'm basically just trying to play the politic game. Is like, how much do you want it? But as you can see now, here comes the your safety. So yeah, pretty much nothing we could do about this. I can't really remove any of these, but you know, we don't have to ever attack to win. So he's going to choose to get rid of the humility, which is fine. It ends up being better for us. So he's basically tells this guy, hey, if you get rid of the humility, I can kill him. And I'm like, I doubt that, but you go right ahead and try. So the best he's going to do is do 7. Then plays the Seedborn Muse, and I'm like, okay, well that's a problem. Sure, I'll give you that one. But again, we're going to hit... pretty much nothing of any real value. These cards were never in my hand. I don't know why they're in my hand. Okay, the game, I think, has screwed up. This is supposed to be an Elspeth. Or Elspeth. I think the game's messed up. It's just doing random things. Like, these 3 are accurate, but these 3 were never in my hand. But basically, this was an Elspeth. I choose to essentially here on this turn, because he has this, I basically choose to go board wipe. We also had Cyclonic Rift in our hand. So I'm gonna love to see how MTGO thinks that this played out. I have a feeling that the replay is going to crash because it can't actually do any of the things it was supposedly going to do. Like, his board was gone. See, like, even here in the chat, he says, I can kill Elspeth. But according to MTGO, this is a Narset. So... but let me end this and let's see if... see if we reload that replay, if it'll work correctly this time. Okay. Okay, so it's basically, it's not, I don't know how their skip function works, but yeah, so basically, like I said, we kind of made a misplay, you know. I didn't realize he had the 2 mana, guys. That's on me, but it's fine. He ended up not doing anything with it anyway. There we go. Okay. So it's hold. As I said, the Rhystic Study is going to come down. You know, he pretty much gets his last land for several turns. He's going to get down the Omnath. Nothing major. Like I said, he didn't really like take advantage of it anyway, so it wasn't that big a deal. We're going to go ahead and get down our commanders. What is this again? Commander Sphere, that's it. I couldn't think Sphere to save my life. But as I said, he's going to get down his Aura Silence, so he's got removal. Not a big deal. We're basically going to make him choose. And he does choose incorrectly. Personally, I would have just taken out the... I'd have just taken out the bridge. But the other guy... neither one of them had any knowledge that this guy was holding a... exile card. Nobody had any idea he was holding an exile card, so... And he's doing a silly thing here by waiting. Instead of just going on and getting rid of it, he does a silly thing and waits till, like, the end of his turn. I mean, you might as well go ahead and use it. I'm tapped out. There's nothing I can do to stop you. I mean, like, nothing short of, like, counter-targetability, and people don't play those. Alright, let's see. Does this function? No, it does not. Yeah, it's still giving me cards it's not supposed to be giving me. Okay, so the replay's messed up. This is not supposed to be there. This is supposed to be a Elsmith, and it did not give it to me. Like, his board is gone. Like, why is this game not black? The replay is broken. But yeah, so apparently the replay is broken. It's giving me cards it did not give me. Like, trust me, I would have loved to have had this, you know. So, but yeah, so. So basically what happens at this point, this, like I said, this was the Elsmith that destroys creatures or makes 3 tokens. I'm going to basically just make 3 tokens to give me enough to cast this for 2. That leaves me enough to Cyclonic Rift if needed. If, like, somehow one of them does manage to, like, combo haste and Omnath, I'm just ready for it. So we basically go down to wipe his board. He has nothing. He untaps, casts his commander. He basically does nothing. He's irrelevant. On the next turn, I hit Ugin. He basically spends his turn casting Omnath again. On my turn, I hit an Ugin. Deal 3 damage to the Omnath. It dies. Again, make 3 more tokens. He plays on his next turn, he plays the newer enchantment that says whenever you cast an enchantment, all creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. So he kills my enchantments, or kills all my tokens, which was fine. We pretty much, anticipated this. Again, the middle guy does nothing. He exists. That's about as far as he'll ever get. This guy proceeds to tap out to Omnath to go to 7, or to go to 6/6, enough to kill the Elsmith, which is at 6. In response, I cast Cyclonic Rift. He does a bunch of things to try to go get something that's going to help him. He goes and gets, a Dryad Arbor and a Vorinclex. Which is cool, but, mine's nicer. He counters with Donovan's Veto. So But basically, the point is, the Omnath does nothing. It only did 1 damage instead of killing the Elsmith, which was fine. I pretty much knew I needed to win that turn. So we untap. Bridge hits the Teferi that says return target creature or enchantment to its owner's hand. I chose the enchantment that was used by the middle guy to get rid of the Ugin. But basically, oh, actually, no, I didn't get the Teferi off of this. I drew the Teferi with this in hand, so this one basically gives me an extra trigger off Prismatic Bridge. But the bridge actually hits the doubling season Vorinclex. So now I've got doubling season in play, and basically I cast the Teferi, use the -3 to bounce the to bounce his card, and basically go from there. Ugin comes back with 14 counters, -7, draw 7, gain 7, put 7 permanents into play, and basically in response they all scoop. Because basically I'm just gonna do this, and there's really no more creatures left in the deck, so it's pretty much just all nasty stuff at that point. Off of the draw 7, I didn't really hit anything of any real importance. There was like, what was it, the untapped Teferi I drew. I think it's the one it also gives one of the emblems. I forget which one. So that would have been hitting. But outside of that, that was really the only important thing. And like I said, we're going to get another activation off of this. So yeah, we were sitting pretty, and like I said, at that point, our deck wins without ever having to swing. And at that point, I was never casting anything else again. So the heuristic study means nothing. He was basically dead in the water. Because at that point, like I said, I still had Ugin, so Ugin was just going to kill Omnath indefinitely. There really wouldn't have been any way for him to get around it. So yeah, we did things. We were very powerful. But yeah, so that was the game. Again, I do apologize. I don't know why MTGO goes, no, we're just going to give you random cards now. Like, don't get me wrong, I would have rather it have been this hand, but, at that point he would have still had a Donovan's Veto and not used it. So that would have been problematic. But I knew he was holding up counter, and that was perfectly fine. I was just basically trying to force the Omnath to do something with his mana, not kill the Elsmith, so I can keep her around. Even if it hadn't, it would have been fine. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I was a little bit selfish there, because like I said, he would have had counter up ready for the Teferi. So at that point, you force him to have Fierce Guardianship, or actually no, because he wouldn't have had anything in play except no, he wouldn't have had any creatures in play. So he couldn't even use Fierce Guardianship, but Force of Will or Pact of Negation, things like that. And I'm not seeing those caliber cards, so I wasn't too worried. Like, we're not seeing any kind of bad land, real original dual lands. Like, he's got some nice full lands, but, whatever. But, like, he's playing Temples. I don't exactly fear the wallet of somebody that plays Temples. So, yeah. And obviously, like, we had the Commander Sphere, we could have sacked it, drew a card, so, yeah. But we were pretty much safe no matter what we did. And obviously, like I said, there's no telling what we would have hit off of this. So, yeah. But it was a good game. I mean, despite the fact that these two guys were, really wanted me dead when this guy was obviously the bigger threat than I ever could hope to be, considering his deck needs to swing big things and this would have just said no indefinitely. So, yeah. But we did what we did, and it was a good game. It proved yet again why this is probably one of my, if not my favorite decks. I still want to do some tuning. There's still some things like I'd like to add like a Meek Stone or something into here to just hamper anybody's ability to attack me even further. I think that would be good. I mean, like this will never swing anyway. I'll never risk it. Like unless it's everybody's tapped out, you obviously don't have blockers. I can see myself swinging, man. Uh, or in a moment of actual desperation, like versus another planeswalker deck, I could see myself swinging at that. But for the most part, like this never end tapping is not an issue. But yeah, no, like I agree. Like this, because it's because he has all loyalty abilities of all other planeswalkers in play. That would have just been disgusting. Copying Nicol Bolas or copying the Ugin again. But yeah, guys, we hope you enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry that the replay messed up. That's unfortunate, but you know how MTGO is. So again, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.